I'm excited about the fact that this business will hopefully grow into something that is bigger than even something that I can, manage, right? Like that's obviously the goal, is I'm not trying to be, working 6 days a week for the rest of my life. So maybe, even when I graduate, if I'm able to, help have the business be run by, some of my employees here, that's one, that would be the best goal for sure.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Key of Morgantown, Interaction Media, and Storymaker. With the help of these sponsors, we are able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one featured in today's episode.
Hey folks, we're visiting today with Ryan Miller. His company is called BuildHaulScape. He's a handyman. He does building, hauling, and landscaping. Yeah. So that's kind of a cool name. Ryan, thanks for being on the show today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you being in the studio. I got to know Ryan recently. I will tell that story maybe a little bit later. But Ryan, I'm really interested in your business. You're a young entrepreneur here in West Virginia. Tell us a little bit about BuildHaulScape.
Yeah. So as the name suggests, I build, I haul, and I scape, which is obviously landscaping. I do small construction from, hanging a TV to deck building, small hauling from couch moving to junk removal, and then small landscaping from mowing to hardscapes. Yeah. Anything in that range, anything a couple guys in a truck can take care of.
That's awesome.
I'm there, yeah.
So Ryan, one of the things that I love about your story, and I like I said, we'll get into how you and I met here in a minute, but you're from Frederick, Maryland. Mm-hmm. You're a student at West Virginia University. You're a college student, but you started this business. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you're studying in school now.
Yeah, so my background's always been somewhat related to construction. Working with my hands. I've always been, I take my business classes like every other kid does. They have to, but my real enjoyment comes from, working with my hands, seeing, something go from an idea to completion. So,
what are you studying?
Yeah, my major is supply chain, and my minor is entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
My whole life I was just doing, odd jobs, side jobs, work with my hand, building stuff. And over that time I collected tools, right? So, and then when I came to college, I brought all the tools with me. While I was at class, I'd, do jobs on the side, just cause it's better than working, 8 to 1 or at some fast food, right? So, it was good financially, and I got enjoyment out of it. Yeah. And, like I said, my minor is entrepreneurship. So last year, my junior year, one of the classes in entrepreneurship was literally start your own business. So I was like, perfect. I've always, wanted to do that, be my own boss, work for myself. So thought, why not? So I made it official. That was in February of this year, 2024.
I love it, man. Yeah. That's awesome. So how's it going?
It's been great. It's obviously, as any, that starts their business, they never know exactly how it will go, where it will take them, who they'll meet. And that's been, true for me too, obviously. It obviously starts with a couple people, doing, picking up maybe one job every other week. And then it goes to one job a week. And just getting as much experience under my belt has been awesome. Yeah.
We're going to talk about networking in a minute, but I do want to share a little bit about how you and I met, because I think it's kind of a neat story. I had a step ladder, aluminum step ladder, and I had two the same size, and I was like, I don't need to get rid, need to have two, and we're trying to organize, and so I put it on sale for a couple of dollars on Facebook Marketplace, and Ryan messages me, hey, I'm interested. So we established a meetup time at our home, and here he comes. He's got a pickup truck and an F-150 like mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, this guy, he's he must be doing something. But what was interesting is we're building a garage on the side of our house, and you looked at that and you said, hey, I see you're building this building. I'm a handyman. If you ever have any projects that you need, I'd be interested in maybe talking to you about that. And I was like, oh, that's why you're buying the ladder. And you were like, yes, of course. All right. Okay. I'm a little bit dense here, but I get it now. Okay. He's building his company. You saw my ad, and that's how we met.
Yeah.
And so I started thinking like, well, hey, I got a lawn that needs mowed at one of our rental properties. I said, hey, could you go over and cut the grass?
Yeah.
and you did it. And I said, take a picture when you're done and send it. You took like 8 pictures. And it was very detailed. And I was like, this guy, he's got something.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you this, I don't know if I shared that, but that attention to detail, I said, send me a picture to show me that, when you're done. And you took details of the whole thing. And I was like, man, this guy, he gets it. Yeah. And I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. A lot of businesses, more specialized businesses, it's easier to stand out because you might, the service you offer might be just different or way better. Yeah. But at the end of the day, my services aren't like anything new or special. So you have to find a way to
differentiate,
separate yourself, stand out, differentiate.
And I love that. And so I thought, the attention to detail, the communication, you've subsequently done a hardscaping landscape job at our home. And it's just about like 98% complete, but it is amazing. Yeah. And your work, your expertise in doing that kind of paver work is awesome. And I'm just real proud of being able to kind of see you work and grow your business. Yeah. And now you're in a networking group with me. And I want to talk a little bit about that because it's called BNI, Business Networking International, an international networking group. And you're in one of the premier groups in the country, Mountaineer chapter here in Morgantown. Talk a little bit about that experience as a young person starting a new business, getting in with some entrepreneurs and other business leaders here in the community. Yeah.
Well, first I'm grateful because I know that opportunity doesn't, pass by a lot of people. So when I had that opportunity, I took full advantage of it. And the fact that it came from me reaching out to buy your ladder is just the epitome of just,
it's cool, right?
How
it's
the
a cool
world
story.
Works, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love it,
so
man.
I ended up joining and in these first couple of weeks, I've just been listening, because I might be good at my thing, but I still have a long ways to go.
Yeah.
And that's been a great experience.
I remember your first meeting. I kind of made a joke, when I introduced you. I said, Ryan is he's majoring in supply chain at College of Business and Economics at WVU, but his minor's in entrepreneurship. But today he's getting a master's degree in entrepreneurship because you were surrounded by all these amazing business leaders and they're just pouring into you. And they've some of them have already taken you under their wing and, want to see you succeed. And I think that's the key here. It's a community of people. How important is that? Like, entrepreneurship, you're a college student, you're doing your business part-time, but by the same token, it can be a lonely experience being an entrepreneur, a solopreneur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the entrepreneurship route, I feel like anybody will find out and kind of know really quickly if it's something that they are interested in, a good path for them. Yeah. And so far it's been enjoyable. It's very, risky, but now for me, especially while I'm young, right? Like that's the time I recognize that's the time to take the risk, explore and network. And so I've just been figuring out everything I can possibly figure out, listen to everything I can possibly listen to.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Meet as many people as I can possibly meet. And that's really been almost more important than even the money side, especially early.
You make a good point there. And I used to say, and I picked it up somewhere along the line early in my career. I said, it's more important what I learn as opposed to what I earn at that infant stage, like the starting out, right?
Yeah.
You're still in school. You haven't graduated. And I want you to get that degree. Stick with it. You know, you graduate in May.
I get that
so I want you
diploma.
to get that. But by the same token, be focusing on what you're learning, not necessarily what you're earning at this point.
Right.
This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
At Freedom Kia, you'll find the perfect ride and savings for your summer adventures. This summer, dive into savings and fun. Just down the road is the Aquatic Center at Milan Park, where you can cool off and have some fun.
Find what you have been searching for in the 2024 Kia Telluride right now at Freedom Kia of Morgantown. Qualified buyers can save $2,500 on the 2024 Kia Telluride. For your next new Kia, look no further than Freedom Kia exit I-79, exit 153, Morgantown.
Folks, we're visiting with Ryan Miller. His company is BuildHaulScape. Ryan, tell us a little bit about specifically, like, you know, the products, or the not really the products, the services that you offer and what you're known for.
Right. So it starts mainly with homeowners. They'll have, you know, maybe somebody that isn't handy, isn't able to, you know, isn't home a lot, isn't able to upkeep their house, or just doesn't want to. I'm there. They usually have, you know, maybe a laundry list of items that they, you know, have always, because people live in their house, they're observing everything.
Like my kitchen cabinet hinge is broken, or my doorknob doesn't work anymore.
Exactly.
You know, I need some holes patched in my drywall, that kind of stuff.
Or this one part of their lawn has been, you know, puddling up with water, so we'll get a drain in there. Or just any little corrections, improvements, ideas a homeowner might have.
There's such a demand for that, isn't there? Because, and you're probably finding this out, because most people are busy and they don't necessarily want to fool with all the little things. But when you're a homeowner, as you said, that's your ideal target market customer. You know, a home is a living, breathing machine. Really, it has to be maintained. If you don't maintain it, you're gonna have problems. So you can come in before those big problems occur and actually take care of it proactively. Yeah,
and that's definitely been enhanced, especially during COVID. People spend more time at home, and they are observing more things that they, you know, want differently, or want corrected.
Their punch list, if you will, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so talk about the landscaping side. You mentioned grass cutting. This time of year, we're recording this in November. The leaves are all over the ground. Is that something you do as well? Yeah.
So anything as basic as mowing a lawn. I mean, I've mowed hundreds, and it's something that, you know, I feel like I'm pretty good at. I guess, you know, it's kind of hard to stand out in the lawn care kind of world, but I think just offering a service in the first place is kind of, you know, all you need sometimes. So from mowing a lawn to installing drains, or as I'm doing right now, you know, a small patio. And all of those things, I'm a perfectionist, so and that definitely translates into my work and, you know,
quality
my
work.
Service.
Quality work, and really, like you mentioned earlier, you know, just showing up, answering the phone, right? Somebody calls, you answer the phone, you can give them a price estimate, and they say, let's go. Let's
being honest, transparent, reliable. You know, just being around your phone. I mean, it's crazy. I'd say about half of my customers are people that have had bad experiences with somebody in the past, or somebody just stopped showing up, and I couldn't even imagine just, you know, not showing up. So I mean, that's really
a large part of the world, right? Is just show up. If you show up, and then the next part of that is if you show up on time, right? And then if you show up on time and do what you say you're going to do, what you promised, I mean, that's it's not that difficult. Right. Most people don't do it, but you're doing it. And I love that. And I think that's commendable. What would you say, Ryan, is your 30-second pitch? In other words, maybe you see somebody, one of your classmates, and they're like, "Hey, man, what's BuildHaulScape? BuildHaulScape? What do you do?"
I'd say I'd probably say, "Hey, sharks, this is." No, I'm good. I'd probably say I do small construction, hauling and landscaping. Construction from TV hanging to deck building, hauling from couch moving to junk removal, landscaping from lawn mowing to hardscapes, and honest and reliable. And give me a call.
Yeah,
and
that's perfect. I love it, and you've put some thought into that, and I think that just in a couple of months you've gone from, hey, I'm gonna do this business, to it's like you've got customers, you're serving people, you're making money.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. And it definitely snowballs. For any, me or any business owner starting out, all you need is those first 10 customers, and it just goes from there. And that's really been evident. And
I think
that's
super cool. So you grew up in Frederick, Maryland. You came to the WVU. What brought you to West Virginia University?
My family originally, when they came here from off the boat, hundreds of years ago, originally homesteaded in West Virginia.
Right.
We kind of over the years gravitated towards Maryland, so that's where we've been for the longest time. And but when I was looking for colleges, this was top 5, and as soon as I took the tour of Morgantown, it was no question.
You're like, this is where I'm going.
I think that's happened to a lot of people. Yeah.
What's it like, running a business, starting a business, and going to school at the same time?
You'll find out who you are really quickly. That's the first thing. Any time management skills, any skills you didn't even know you had, you'll find out real quick if you have them or not. And just making just small sacrifices, because people my age, it's really hard. Your friends, you want to have fun, and there will always be time for that. The weekends, right? I'm not working 7 days a week, but sometimes working 6 days a week is a sacrifice that you kind of have to
I can attest for that. A couple of nights ago, you were out there working on our property, and it was dark, and you're out there with a flashlight working. And I thought, man, this guy, again, work ethic is something people talk about, but you have it, and I just want to commend you for that. I think that's going to take you farther than you can even imagine.
And I appreciate that, and that is one of my main things I focus on, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
My name's Caitlin Furby. I'm an interior designer with Remarkable Interiors. Our time is very limited. We're trying to do everything we can possible to keep our clients' projects moving and rolling. So StoryMaker has been really great for us for putting out how to explain our company. I can sit and agonize about a post and is this right? Does this sound good? When I use StoryMaker, it sounds so beautiful, and it was so easy, and it saves me a lot of time to do the things that I'm really good at.
Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Get reliable, fiber-powered 500 megabits internet for $39.99 per month with a $100 gift card and price lock guarantee, plus a free modem, free installation, and free Wi-Fi your way. Folks, here at Interaction Media, we're a media company, and we rely on high-speed internet every single day to get our jobs done. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, it's fast, and they're awesome people as well. Learn more at breezeline.com. Folks, we're visiting today with Ryan Miller. Ryan's company is called BuildHaulScape. Ryan is a senior working going to school at WVU, West Virginia University, John Chambers College of Business and Economics, studying supply chain, and his minor is in entrepreneurship. And so the interesting part of Ryan's story is that he chose to come to West Virginia from Frederick, Maryland, come to Morgantown, come to WVU, and he's not only studying entrepreneurship, he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He started BuildHaulScape, and he's serving real customers like myself right here in North Central West Virginia. Ryan, what would you say is the thing you're most excited about for your company? You're a startup. You're a service company, one person, and you have a crew of guys that help you. But what's what would you say you think you're most excited about right now?
I'm excited about the fact that this business will hopefully grow into something that is bigger than even something that I can, manage, right? Like that's obviously the goal, is to, I'm not trying to be, working 6 days a week for the rest of my life. So maybe, even when I graduate, if I'm able to, help have the business be run by, some of my employees here, that's one, that would be the best goal for sure.
Yeah. So you kind of have like some thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Do you have like a vision? Like what would you like to do with your career and your business?
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely use my degree in supply chain for maybe a year to a couple of years, just to have that salary come in. But at the end of the day, my side business will hopefully become my main business, because I've always gravitated towards working for myself, because
and you're doing it now.
So
I mean, working in the business that you're in, have you come across like real life applications for supply chain issues? I mean, we've been hearing about supply chain since 2020 basically. Right? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, supply chain is in almost every aspect, and it's especially in the construction aspect. A couple of years ago, past couple of years, I've helped my friend's dad build a house, and he's doing it pretty much by himself. And so he's had to source his materials by himself, and that has been really hard recently based on the price, material availability. So there's a lot of
everything's on back order. It seems even 4 years after the pandemic.
We're
still talking
from lumber
about
to concrete to even labor. At the end of the day, I mean, these companies that are backed months out because they can only afford or only have a couple of guys working for them. All that stuff goes into supply chain.
It's good. Good stuff. What's the most interesting thing you've seen so far in your business?
Let's see. The interesting thing that I've noticed the most is, and this is a little bit of an exaggeration, but how easy it is to, stand out in even, the most basic business, which is a handyman.
Because that's really interesting. Tell us a little bit more about that.
And so like I said, a lot of my customers, give me a call because their past vendor has either done a bad job, not shown up, that cost too much, or just awful at communicating, or any one of those things. So from the moment that you get a phone call from a customer, just listening and being honest and being communicative with them over text, following up quotes, it starts there. It's really easy to stand out in that first kind of introductory phase, and then from there, just listening to their vision, because the customer is the only thing that matters. So listening to them, what they want, and just walking through the whole process, listening to them, if they want little changes or anything
that wisdom that you just share right there is very powerful. Is that something you learned just since you started your business?
Well, maybe, but it's always been kind of just who I am. I've heard these stories of some of my customers. They say like this person usually mows my lawn, but they just stop showing up, and like I couldn't even imagine, like, how do you run a business like that?
Right.
And so I don't.
Well, I say this quite often, but the basic things today, just doing the basics like we're talking about, are extraordinary. You don't see them, and it's just like you figured it out. Just do the basics right. And like you said, I'm going to use your word. It's easy. So I think that's awesome, man. And the fact that you figured that out so fast is powerful. Ryan, when I think about you as a young person, making sacrifices, in your senior year, like you said, you could be having fun, but here you are working on projects in the evenings and even on the weekends. What do you think is the most important attribute for a successful business leader today?
Really just how much do you care about not only your business, but yourself, your legacy, how you'll be remembered, how, how you'll provide for your family, or, or just be a giver, it starts with that. Like, obviously most businesses are started because of financial reasons. They think they can make a lot of money, or they want to, or something like that. But if you're just purely in it for like seeing a check come in every week, and you're not worried, and you're not thinking about, do I care to even do this? Do I care to what am I even making money for? I think it starts with that. Because I'm not just mowing lawns because it's fun. I'm out there doing that because this is something that will build into something that will outlast me. Even if my business doesn't outlast me, the idea that what I'll be remembered for will outlast me. So
the relationships that you have, the customers that you build, the business. And honestly, like I said, I say it all the time. Fall in love with the problem. Don't fall in love with your solution, because most times, businesses that have this great idea, but they're not solving for a problem, they fail because they fell in love with their solution, not the customer's problem. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You haven't said it in those words, but my translation of everything you're saying is like, people have a need. They need somebody to show up, answer their call, right? Do a good job, and keep showing up, be available. And that's solving for a problem. And I love that. And I kind of articulated it a little bit differently. I like your version better, but I just think it's awesome what you're doing. And from the very first day I met you, I knew you had something special, and you're going to go a long way. What's one piece of advice, Ryan, you would give for somebody here in West Virginia? Maybe they're a student thinking of an idea, or maybe they're thinking about a career change, and they're thinking about the idea of starting a business. What's a piece of advice you would give them?
I would say, just throw yourself into the deep end. You're not gonna drown. Like, you're not gonna die. Like, throw yourself in the deep end. You will figure it out. Whether it's, it might not be how you thought it would happen, or it might be really hard, but you will figure it out. Like, most of the time, you don't have a choice. Like, you just have to figure it out. And I think almost everybody has that understanding and that work ethic, that sign yourself up for something that you might not be able to do, or say yes to something you have no idea how to do. Just throw yourself in the deep end. You will figure it out.
I think that's thinking about taking risks, betting on yourself, right? Especially if you have that entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe it's not full-fledged, and it's kind of funny because sometimes I'll talk to people and they'll say, I just urge you to ease into it. But you're like, no, go all in.
No,
and I think either way is good. It just depends on who you are and what you want to do, and your risk tolerance, right? Maybe it's the fact that you've got a full-time job and you don't want to give up a 6-figure job to maybe go make 7 figures, by betting on yourself. Or it could be that you're just a college student, not just a college student. What I mean is, you're a college student and you don't have a lot of risk.
Right.
Let's go ahead and try it now at an early age. So either way, I think is fine. And I love your perspective on it. So appreciate you sharing that. Ryan, we've covered a lot in this interview. We know some of your backstory. I love the story of how we met. I think that's super cool, and I'll always remember that. Is there anything else you think our listeners should know about you personally or your business story?
I just started with me. I'm 21. I'm set to graduate in May. yeah, I'm out right here in Morgantown, trying to grow my business. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
super
I'm doing.
cool. Well, as we close out our time, how can people, our listeners, learn more about you and even get in touch with you? What's the best way to, if they've got a handyman job and they need to call Ryan Miller, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So we have Instagram and Facebook at BuildHaulScape. And the email is buildhaulscape@gmail.com.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure we
Reach
have
out
all
there.
that in the show notes and social media. So
Yep.
folks, if they have a project, whether it's a grass that needs mowed, a hardscape project, or some projects around the house that they need done, they can
give
call
me a
Ryan
call.
Miller with BuildHaulScape and get it done. Ryan, I think, first of all, it's been an honor to have you on the show. I hope this was honoring to you. And I think what you're doing is amazing. I've told you that. I've introduced you to my network, and now you're part of our group. And I just think that you're destined for great things, and I want to encourage you to keep up the great
forever
work.
in debt to you.
Oh my God,
I appreciate it.
No, man, it's awesome, man. I love helping and being a part of your small part of your journey. So thanks for being here.
I appreciate it. Very grateful. Yeah.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, Interaction Media, Storymaker, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.
Folks, that's a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on our show, drop us a line at our website at positivelywv.com. And of course, we appreciate your comments, your feedback, sharing great stories like Ryan Miller's on your social media channels as well. It helps get the word out there. And it's just awesome. And thank you for your support. On behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today behind the controls, Mr. Jimmy Murray, I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.